Hello and welcome to Get It Right. I'm Susan Mwangi, your host. On the episode today, we have Ezra Muinde, who is the founder of Anzia Sokoni. So Ezra, karibu.
Asante sana.
Yeah, Ezra, now before we get started with our topic for today, let us know who you are and what your inspiration was to starting Anzia Sokoni.
Ezra Muinde is a farmer. Ezra Muinde is the founder of Anzia Sokoni. And before I started Anzia Sokoni, the person I was before Anzia Sokoni, I was working in a microfinance. I was working as a sales coordinator in a microfinance in Machakos County. So Anzia Sokoni I created so that I can do advocacy, I can educate farmers so that farmers understand that we are farming to sell, and before you go to the farm, you need to understand who you are selling to. So that's why I started Anzia Sokoni, and it has been an inspirational thing to me. Teaching farmers, training them about the marketing aspect, training farmers to go out there and source the market by themselves.
Okay, it's very interesting, from working in a financial institution to farming. On what gap did you identify in the agricultural value chain, perhaps, that made you birth this idea?
I classify farming in three portions. We have the input parts, whereby you go and source the land, you prepare the land, you buy the farm inputs, and we have the agronomic part, whereby you have the agronomist, the production part, and we have the marketing part. So me, I looked at those three parts, and according to me, I think we are doing good in production, we are doing good in inputs, but when it comes to the market, there is a gap. We're having some people dying of hunger in one county, and we're having some other guys feeding their cabbages, feeding their tomatoes to the animals. It's not about that we don't have a market. The market is there, but what we are lacking is the timing, what we are lacking is the seasoning, what we are lacking is the pricing. Because probably when you're going to the market, you will find out that the price that you're having will not even give you profit. So you decide, instead of selling at a lower price, you just give them to the animals. But if, as a farmer, you go to the farm, you're going to do capsicum, and at the end of the day, I'm going to sell this capsicum to a certain buyer. So at least at that stage, you'll understand that farming is a business.
When we talk about market-driven agriculture, what are the factors that will help the farmers be able to do that?
The most basic factor about market-driven agriculture is market research. And market research is going to the market as a farmer, understanding your consumers. You go literally engage your consumers. What do they want? What quantity do they want? What quality do they want? At what time do they want? So that by the time you're going to farm, you have an image of what you're going to farm. Market-driven agriculture is basically understanding your market and delivering your produce according to the consumer preferences.
Okay, let's talk about this farmer who is somewhere like ako huko ndani, mashinani kabisa. They may not even understand. They may not really know that they're supposed to carry out a market research. Yeah. So how can such a person be helped to know at what point should I plant what? Because that is what the consumer is interested in.
Yeah, what I'm teaching in Anzia Sokoni is something we call a farmer trader. Because if today you are that local farmer mashinani pale, and you are doing a small piece of land and you are doing your tomatoes, or probably you're doing your capsicum, or most importantly, most of them do maize and beans on average, the smallholder farmers. But you see, as a farmer, you cannot feed on the crop you're doing every season. If you're doing tomatoes, at one given time, you need cabbages to feed your family. So a farmer trader is you going out there to the market and trying to edge out the brokers and the traders who are there. We need to sell so that we remain in business the next season. Because if you're practicing subsistence farming, at the end of the day, the next season, you will need fertilizer, you will need some inputs, and probably when you did your maize the last season, you just ate all of it. So again, you will need capital. For you to get that capital, you need to farm to sell.
You have mentioned the middlemen. So let's talk about these people. What is their role in the agricultural value chain?
I think for now, they might be the most important people in the agricultural value chain, because they trade something very important on this chain, and that is information. And information has been a gap which we need to bridge, and I think middlemen have become traders in a way, and they're trading information. Because as a farmer, you're going there, you get the farm inputs, you get the agronomic support, and you start farming. Now, as me as a broker or as the middleman, I'll go there in the market and understand the market. So by the time I'm coming to your farm gate or to your farm, I know the price of this produce, I know the transport dynamic, the logistics, so I know what profit I'll make. To me, I think I don't even call them middlemen or brokers. I call them traders because they are trading information. Kwa sababu mkulima amekaa pale kwa shamba, akaamua mimi nalima, we kuja ununue.
Contrary to what you're saying, because I've visited farmers, and most of them have been crying because of this middleman. Because what they do, they say that they buy their produce at a very, very low price. And then when they go out there, the same produce they bought, for example, if they buy a sack of potatoes at 1,000 shilling, the same they will go and sell from 2,500. Now you see the person who is suffering here is the farmer, because at the end of the day they are making very little and the middleman is reaping big.
Interesting. But you see, this is it. Middlemen or brokers don't buy from farmers at gunpoint, right?
Yes.
So those guys, they come to you and you literally sell to them. And secondly, in most cases, you call them, they come to your farm and you sell to them. So a farmer feels like amegongwa when they realize that the broker doubled the price and sold at even a higher price. So as a farmer, we are not supposed to be complaining. The other day I saw potato farmers in Nyandarua complaining, going on the street, actually protesting that the brokers wanawakula sana because they have those extended sacks, then they go and repackage them in 50 kg sacks. Now, if as farmers you can group yourself together and go to the streets and actually protest, what you need to do is use that energy positively. Work together. This is a broker. He bought probably at 90 and they bought probably at 30 and they sold at 90. So what you need to do, the next time they come, because hapo washaenda kuuza and your produce is gone now. There's nothing you can do. Now, as farmers, what you need to do is hedge the broker. The next time they come, you bargain. Or secondly, if you can move to the streets and protest, it means you can move and go to that buyer that broker went to, because you are as a group, and bargain, you work with the logistics, and now you go direct. You edge the broker and do the marketing directly.
Okay, then, do you consider agribusiness as a lucrative business as any other enterprise?
Everybody who is living today, they depend on food 3 times a day, everybody. And it doesn't matter what kind of profession you're doing, you will have to depend on food 3 times a day. And I think agriculture is one profession that we need all of us. So this is a profession that we can all dig in and actually reap some good money in it. What we need to understand about agriculture is the agribusiness part. Because agriculture is farming, is going to farm. The agribusiness part is making money from farming. So I think to me is a very viable, and we need to stop thinking about agriculture as the disturbing the soil thing, pale kulima. Agribusiness is not kwenda kulima pale chini. As young people, we need to create technologies, we need mechanized tools, we need journalists who are telling the stories of farmers. Actually, we can all get into farming, but on that value chain. I was telling you, I didn't go literally to farm.
Yes.
I started on the value chain, and I think there's so many opportunities on the value chain.
So let's talk about you now as the founder of Anzia Sokoni. What is your role now in making agriculture a competitive enterprise as any other?
I think for one, it is competitive already.
Yeah, it is.
And Anzia Sokoni basically is advocacy and going down there and teaching the farmer. One thing I tell the farmers when I reach their farm is, do you have a market? You want to sell tomatoes. Who is your buyer? So one thing farmers need to understand is that this is a business. You are not farming to feed this nation. You're farming to, actually you're farming to make profits. Farming, agribusiness assumes the main an objective of making profit at any given time. So we need to look at the resources you are having and the market you are targeting so that we can gauge if you are going to remain in business or if you're going to flop.
Do you visit these farmers at the farm level, or do you organize forums where you invite them and then offer the training? And if you visited them, what are some of the mistakes you have identified so far that they probably make that maybe hinder them now from accessing the market?
I'll start with the first question. I do visit farmers and I go on the ground, on the farm. And the first thing I told you is that the first question I always want to know is, where is your market? And some of the farmers, we walk with them to the market so that we understand, is your market viable? Can you even find a better market? And we also hold trainings whereby we just have a group of farmers and we teach them the whole value chain, but now I come in to teach them about the marketing part. Now, one of the mistakes that I think farmers do is sit and wait. Because nimelima, you just sit and wait, nani atakuja anunue, and ukianza kugongwa, you like now start blaming the government, probably start blaming ati barabara ni mbaya, and that person who came to buy to you used the same things you were complaining about. So I think one of the biggest challenges with farmers is sit and wait, and the other challenging thing is information. I think information is one of the most challenging, and probably farmers need to man up and just go there to the market and look for information themselves.
So what is your take? What is the reception that you have been able to get from the farmers? Are they embracing the knowledge that you're offering to them? And can you identify and say that I've seen this group of farmers improve, they were here, and right now they are on a higher place than you found them?
I have connected farmers to buyers, and I can say that I have a challenge because I don't, as Anzia Sokoni, I'm working on a system of feedback, because I don't usually get the feedback thing. And when you connect a buyer and a seller, the deal is successful, but I don't know what next. Because if you're farming today, you cannot be a one-time farmer. You need to farm again and again and again. So I think Anzia Sokoni is giving a solution for farmers to actually remain viable in the next season, and actually for farmers to farm again, because we don't want to be one-time farmers. Umelima leo, umeenda ukanunua ka Pro Box and you are like done. Ama umelima this season and ukapigwa na floods and you are like done.
We will now be taking a short commercial break, but don't go too far. We will be back in a bit.